All right, today we are going to find out what is inside a steel-toed leather work boot. As you can see, these are my old Wolverine leather work boots. They have it printed on the side here as well. And I wore these for, I think, about 3 years, basically every day. I worked in the lot and also receiving and all sorts of places at Home Depot, basically every department. So they got pretty worn out doing that. And outside all the time. I also worked the line service, fueling jets and mowing lawns and everything else at the airport. And so that's how I got, well, it's more apparent on this one, the rubber worn away inside the kind of curvature of my foot there from putting the fuel hose back and guiding it with my foot. And through the magic of having two of them, I already cut this one apart, and you can see here is the actual steel part. Now, they were already kind of wearing apart, as you can see here, mostly from kneeling. See, whenever I'd kneel on the concrete floor to put packages away or whatever, stocking shelves, the toe got driven into the concrete, and also you just kick a pallet or whatever, where you stub your foot, and your toe drags, and so the leather wears away over time, and that led to it being pretty scratched and beat up, a little bit rusted. I did paint them at a couple points. I just had a random can of spray paint. I was doing some painting, so I went, just to protect it. But, that wears away. So that's one downside of steel-toed boots is you usually end up wearing away the toe of them because the steel is just going to wear right through that leather. Of course, the upside is you don't get your toes crushed, and these definitely saved me many times. I do really love these Wolverines because they have these metal hooks, right? They're metal, and yeah, they will wear out your laces, but laces are cheap. $10 you get a new set of boot laces, or you get some real tough ones that don't wear out. And all these rings in here are metal as well. So every single loop is metal, except for this hook here is plastic, but I can forgive them on that, especially since they never broke, never had an issue. Loved these boots. Unfortunately, couldn't find another pair just like them. But they really did serve me well for a few years of just every day. I mean, I put thousands of miles on these boots, and they were pretty comfortable. I did wear out the inside as well, as you can see down in there. It's coming separated there. And, even the tread is starting to separate because I've worn through so many layers of rubber. Obviously the toe here, this was my major issue, is anytime it got wet out, then my feet would get wet because water would just come right through the toe. And that's why I retired them, and I got some different boots. I got some Solomons, and those did not last very long, actually. The laces broke, the clips, the clasps for the laces were plastic and wore out pretty quickly. Not a fan of those, actually, but oh well. Anyways, back to the main video here. Again, through the magic of having two of them, I cut this apart already, and you can see in here you have the steel toe, which is in actually pretty good condition still, and it's marked right here. And there's also this plastic ring here, I guess, is to, kind of make the edge not so rough. And as you can see, that's already snapped in a few places. That's not from me cutting it apart. That was probably from things being dropped on it and a lot of use. So that actually kind of plasticky, rubbery thing, I had to get slammed to the side of my foot a few times, so that's cut a few places. So these definitely did get used a lot, but they did protect me. They did their job. Behind that, you can see there's kind of the felt lining right here. And then there's the insulation. And these, I have to give it to them, they're pretty warm. For work boots, for very lightweight, thin work boots, they do have the thin slit. I believe they're 200 gram. Or I could be wrong with that. No, they are 200 gram thin slit. And yeah, again, love these boots. Can't recommend them highly enough. I believe they discontinued them. At least I couldn't find them again. So at least my local shoe store, Red's Shoe Barn, did not have them. I suppose my one big gripe with steel-toe boots, with this boot in particular here, is they're not wide enough in the toe. And yeah, they get logger boots that are like a square toe, but I like to have really a little more room for my toes, as I've discovered as I've worn looser and looser shoes over the years. I really do like having room for my toes, and steel-toe boots don't really wear in, and they really, really squish your toes up here. That's a big downside, but all right, let's see what's underneath here. Now we've got kind of the sole section. And you can see that's where the rubber starts. This is normally glued down. Of course, the glue wore out. And you can see, what's the letters on the bottom here. And the steel only goes around just to kind of the bottom of the toe. It doesn't actually cover the whole bottom section. That is one of the other downsides of steel-toe boots, is if you get something that's extremely heavy and does crush this, then your foot is crushed inside the steel. However, the nice thing is with no bottom on it, you're going to be able to get your foot out. If there is a bottom on it and it pinches your foot, now your foot is pinched in metal and they have to, you know, unpinch it in order to get your foot out, and you're kind of not going to have toes after the end of that. And here you can see the line that separates the outer rubber sole here. It's the actual tread, and then the inner, you know, sole section. And of course there's a kind of more of a liner inside of that. Right here you can see there's like a liner. But, you know, it was so stuck in there, I couldn't really get it out. It's just years and years of being in there. Or maybe it was glued in. I don't think it was glued in, but I couldn't seem to get it out very well. In the back, you know, it was worn out so much. I mean, I wore straight through it. You can see right down to the bottom where it was worn through to the glue or the resin, I assume is what it is. So, man, these really took a beating. But, like I said, great boots. The biggest thing is, of course, the toe wears through. And I really wish they had reinforced this front area more. So, you know, obviously you have this rubber side that comes around. If they had brought that, made it thicker, first of all, maybe made it a tougher material, and brought it up some more to protect the front, it would have lasted me probably another year or two. So, all right, that's it. That's what's inside a leather boot. Correction, steel-toed work boot. Fully pulling the steel section away now, you can see there is a fair little bit of rust in there, just surface rust from the water, moisture to get in there. You really, that's the one downside. Well, I keep saying the one downside. There are several downsides. I do really like these boots. That once I started getting the hole in the bottom here, the toe, it would get wet quickly. And it does take a long time to dry out because it's encased in the steel in the front here. So you end up with a pretty soggy toe. But yeah, I might just keep this around for fun because it's cool to see the toe. I probably won't even bother pulling the other one apart, but you know, it's cool. Maybe make some steel toe Crocs or something. That'd be pretty funny. And excuse the toes, but you can see the issue I was talking about with not having enough room for my feet. I mean, the whole idea was you were squished right up in there like this. So yes, it protected your toes, but your toes are like this shape the whole time you're wearing the boot. And my toes don't want to be that shape. My toes want to be this shape, you know? They want to be spread out. And that barely covers 3 toes at that point. So, you know, that's my big issue with work boots is you have to really squish them, jam them in there. And that's not super comfortable. You know, if this was a bigger box, I would like it a lot more. I wear kind of like toe shoes now. And I know I'm one of those weird hippies, but that's my major issue. And that's the reason I haven't really gone back to wearing work boots. I do have a pair of cowboy boots, Ariats, that are slip-on without laces. And even those are a little on the tight side. I prefer to have something much larger, you know, squared out. But even the squared out logger boots and whatnot are not that wide on your actual toes. It's quite unfortunate. So, oh well. I'm sure there's a company out there. If you have any recommendations, please leave them in the comments. Any recommendations on more toe room style work boots that are comfortable and let your toes breathe and spread out for a longer period, especially steel-toed versions, because it's nice to have. All right, anyways, that's all for now, and see you in the next one.